Hello, this is Malorian, and now this will be a 2,000 point game of my Tomb Kings up against some Skaven. So that's right, I decided to break out my Tomb Kings again. I bullied my brother into a game, so he's pulling out his Skaven for the first time in several months. And wouldn't you know it, the game that we got pulled up here is this Dawn Attacks. That's, crazy deployment and all those things, and neither of us were too happy about that. For me, because my army is designed to work together. For him, because he has serious leadership issues. But, it'll be interesting to see what happens. On this left side here, what we have is that hill there is that Anvil of Vol, so you get magical and flaming attacks if you're on it. You got a wall by me here on the bottom, and that little template in the middle, that's actually going to be that Sorceress Portal, which casts some magic every single turn. For my part, I got 5 Skeleton Archers, I got a Sphinx, then I got 30 Skeleton Archers. Ignore the ones with spears, I still got to go and build and paint the other ones, and I got a little level 2 there. I also have one of my Skelepults, a Sphinx, and then on his side he has a Doom Wheel, he has some slaves, and then there's an Engineer with the Doom Rocket, he has his Hell Pit. In the front he has his 40 Storm Vermin, and in there is a Warlord with the whole Fellblade, so he's pretty crazy and really good against my Sphinx. And behind he has his Monks with the Plague Banner. Then he has another 20 slaves, or sorry, not 20, 50 slaves. And then just to finish his side off, then he has his block of 20 slaves. In there is his level 4 and his BSB. He has a Warp Lightning Cannon in the back, and then some Clan Rats, but pretty soon we're going to take them away because he forgot the Clan Rats weren't in this list. To finish up my side, I have a unit of 20 Skeleton Archers, another Skelepult, some more Horseman Archers up front, a Sphinx, Bone Giant, also known as a Colossus now, and another unit of 30 Skeleton Archers, and in there is my level 4 with a scroll. So this is something here where, I was trying to get into Tomb Kings before, kind of lost interest, but really I'm trying to get back into them now, and this is kind of the list I thought I'd want to go with. I mean, their real strength is going more defensively, their Sphinxes are really awesome, all of mine have the Fiery Breath, and, it's really meant to be working together and being defensive, but I'm going to have to be spread out here because this is the way that I rolled where my units had to be. And really my real goal here is to somehow try and avoid that Warlord, try and shoot that unit to bits, and then maybe just try and redirect it. Meanwhile, just try and rush, get into his level 4 as soon as I can, maybe catapult it, make it panic off the board. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure once his 2 big hordes hit me, I'll be in some trouble. So the biggest thing I'll need to do is, maybe it's going to help me that I'm spread out because he can't kill as many things. So his first turn, he starts off with some bad luck. He has his HPA that moves forward, and then the portal shoots it with a fireball and takes off 2 wounds. So that was pretty nice for me, and he was not too pleased. Otherwise, on this side of the board, you can see that he's just kind of moving up a little bit. And on this side, same thing, moving up, he transferred his characters over to the 1 slave block, and then in the magic phase, he had killed 2 of my horseman archers, which I didn't really care about too much. The second part of bad luck for him is that his Warp Lightning Cannon exploded first turn, so that definitely isn't going to help him out. My turn 1, I have my own bad luck, and my level 2 over here does the worst miscast you can, kills a bunch of my own skeletons, and then luckily doesn't get sucked into the warp. Otherwise, you can see that I have 1 Sphinx going to go engage his Hell Pit Abomination, shooting some arrows into his Doom Wheel, did I think 2 or 3 wounds. It was, man, I just got really lucky. It lost control and kind of slammed into the side of the board. And then otherwise, I tried doing a lot of shooting into his Storm Vermin, but between scattering off and him making a bunch of armor saves, I really didn't do as much as I had hoped. His turn 2 then, his Doom Wheel tries to get to my 1 Sphinx, doesn't go far enough, and then just misfires anyway. His HPA actually decides to run away. He fires his Doom Rocket and it goes long. He moves up his other units to try and really threaten me, and his 1 unit there, the the slaves move up to block me. He had skitter leaped though his Grey Seer to be in with the storm vermin, and then pretty much the only other thing to look at for the other side is by this time now he had taken off those clan rats, which he doesn't actually have, and so we just kind of moved over the uh, the bone giant so that he was coming more to the left side. My turn 2 then, I send the one Sphinx into his Doom Wheel, expect to really smash it, because like I said, I already had 3 wounds, but I left it with 1 wound left. I decided not to use my Fiery Breath at this time. The other Sphinx is going around to try and deal with those slaves. Otherwise, I had moved up to 1 unit of archers just because I know it's going to die anyway, but if I block the storm vermin, then maybe, well, not maybe, then what it will do is block the plague monks, so that'll be awesome. Plus, they have a little job to do, which I'll have to explain soon. And then otherwise, I have a Sphinx and the Bone Giant that goes into the slaves, pop off the Fiery Breath, and as you can see there, I killed a whole bunch. They held, of course, because he has such high leadership with the general there, but as long as he doesn't get that BSB out, I should be able to kill it before he's able to get to me. The other thing I have to explain is that I was shooting my catapults into this unit here, and one of them scattered slightly so that it was right dead on to his Grey Seer. He failed his lookout, sir, and luckily for him I only did 2 wounds, but man, this game could have really swung in my way if this would have died right away. His turn 3, his HPA is starting to make its way back. He makes really short work of those skeletons there. I try and direct one more attack into his Grey Seer, but I fail. One thing that is happening, though, is that, of course, his Warlord is starting to take some wounds from the Fellblade because he has to test every turn. And his other unit there, this BSB, I'm really starting to whittle down. I really should have reformed before so I could have directed some attacks at the BSB, but I assumed he was going to break by now. So I reformed at this point so I can try and kill him so that, you know, at the very least, I can try and kill him before that Fellblade comes in and slaughters my Sphinx. And the crazy thing over here is I still just can't do that last wound. I've now popped my Fiery Breath just because I want to kill this thing, but I just somehow can't get that last wound. So it'd be nice if I could, because if he somehow is able to beat me, and, you know, with his lightning, if he rolls a high enough strength, then he does a d6 wounds and all that stuff, then all of a sudden my left flank is a lot of trouble, whereas if I destroy this, I'm set. So on my turn 3, everything goes fantastic. He finally kills off the Doom Wheel, so that's gone. My Sphinx makes a nice charge into his slaves with the one engineer, you know, totally destroys them because they just explode, and I reform to look the other way. So I mean, this flank is completely mine. The other side is kind of good in that I was able to kill his unit here. I mean, I even killing blowed his BSB twice, but one of the things I wanted to do was move over this remaining horseman so that they're going to be blocking off his unit here, so that, you know, maybe I'd have another turn and try and get away or something. But the problem is I forgot that my level 4 had already miscast before and lost 2 spell levels, so that I didn't have that signature spell anymore. So that's why they're kind of only halfway there. The only good news here is that his monks still won't be able to find a way through. His turn 4 then, he brings his HPA into my Sphinx, and I'm feeling pretty good about this, and really that's the last thing he has over here. This model still has its Fiery Breath, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to deal with its HPA, no problem. In the end, though, I wasn't able to do that, so that was a little bit too bad. Nothing really happens there. He slaughters my Sphinx, no problem whatsoever. He's taken another wound on his Fellblade guy, and he's now into these horse archers here. Which isn't too bad, because I'm pretty sure my Bone Giant can do all right against those monks. My turn 4, pretty much still fighting on the left side. Nothing's really settled there. My Bone Giant went into his monks, beat them, they broke, and I wasn't able to catch them, but I'm sure I'll be able to get them later. He's able to kill off the horses. He's now into the skeletons, and I think, if nothing else, hopefully they can start killing off his characters. And I mean, I have nothing really to shoot with my catapults, so they're trying to shoot into the slaves. I knew it was kind of stupid. One misfired, and luckily it didn't die. His turn 5, we're still fighting with the monsters on the left. The monks are still running. He kills off my guys there. And by the way, if you didn't see, my level 4, well, now only level 2, Hierophant is making a run for it. But I was able to kill both of his characters. Another thing that's going really nice for me is that he has Death Frenzy on the unit, so he's losing D6 models every time. So even though they're very threatening, they're going away pretty quick. My side of 5, the biggest thing is that my one Sphinx kills his Hell Pit, and then my Bone Giant was just close enough so I could declare a charge just to make them run off the board. So tons of points for me over here. And on this side, I just keep on running away with my Hierophant while the Scullipult just kind of moves up just to block him so he couldn't just charge my Hierophant instead. And then his turn 6, he has really nothing else to do other than to kill my Scullipult. And so my turn 6, I just do nothing and say hooray. So victory to the Tomb Kings, and as far as this army goes, I'm fairly happy with it. Its one big weakness is, of course, is that I can't really do much if it's a watchtower. I mean, sure, I can kind of shoot it and break things down that way, but really I don't have a good unit to try and take it in the end. But as far as Tomb Kings go, I think this is a very competitive way to actually run them. If I get some time to get past these orcs, it really should be very quick to paint up an army like this to run it for a tournament. I mean, Tomb Kings you can paint up fairly quickly if you're, a person that doesn't go to much detail like I am. I just try and make it so it's tabletop. And the unfortunate thing for this game, though, is for my brother. He had some bad luck there with his getting shot with fireballs right away, with me getting lucky with some wounds, the way that his army had to be all broken up, because even though it was bad for me, it was even worse for him with his leadership stuff, his warp lightning cannon exploding, failing his lookout sir test, and it's just all these things that, I mean, I don't expect to see him playing fantasy for a while again, but it was good to make him bring it out and at least play a game. It wasn't like he was super angry or anything, but he just, he's a guy that likes 40k and War Machine more. But there you have it, and I hope to like seeing the Tomb Kings coming out for another go. Thanks, bye.